A great space.
Okay, we are rolling. You can begin this Grammy-worthy episode.
Wow, amazing. I hope we need to keep that part in. I just want to say shout out to every OG podcast listener because we have everyone's favorite guest back on the podcast today. We have Ryan.
They're so sweet.
They love you.
No, they're so sweet. The comments, the messages are always very sweet.
They are very sweet.
Right?
When
Kenzie,
I posted with you, people freaked out.
What are you wearing?
Oh, yeah. So today, you guys might be like, oh my God, so crazy if you're watching on YouTube. What a beautiful outfit both of you guys have on. We look like
Thing 1 and
Thing 2.
Kenzie?
I'm wearing the O-Kind right now, the Ryan set that is named after, you guessed it, Ryan over here. So we are matching. This was unplanned.
That it's named after me, but I can't get enough of it, actually.
Do you tell everyone that it's named after you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would tell everyone if I were you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I tell the guy at the newspaper stand. I tell the guy at the pizza shop, the person scooping my ice cream. Everywhere I go, yes, this is, you guessed it, the Ryan shirt. But it's so flowy. It's so light.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfect for summertime in LA.
It really is.
Yeah,
I wear it in Texas, and it's hot
Is it
there.
linen?
It's 100% cotton.
Cotton, yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
And some of the funds are going towards a great cause.
Oh, yes. Well, not now, but we were donating for like a week, I think, or 2 weeks to Fund Texas Choice. Great organization to get behind. And then Bread Winning Housewife did something for them, too.
I love
Dallas
that you
based.
ingested that.
Love that. Well, we also have producer Taylor on the mic. If you guys heard
back.
him, he is back. Can you do a little song and number for
I was
us?
going to say, anybody who immediately goes, oh, I remember him, thank you for listening to this show for that long. And I'm happy that you're still listening to us. And if you've heard or you know who I am, then I know for damn well that you know who Ryan is. So thank you.
Yeah.
That means you're dedicated. And honestly, anyone who's that dedicated has love for me. So that's amazing.
And if y'all haven't listened to the episodes, I would Ryan has been on the show probably this might be your 5th appearance.
That sounds about right.
And there's so many inside jokes from our episodes, like rowing down the 405, but I will link them all, and you need to go back and listen to them because they are, we're in a totally different life phase, I will say.
I've been writing a lot of letters recently, too. I got to be honest. I had a lot of bones and a lot of grievances to share then. I got a lot of bones and a lot of grievances to share now.
Who are you writing a letter to these days?
I had to write one this morning.
Oh, God. To who?
To Chase Bank.
What did they do?
Well, last night I go to the ATM.
Oh, no.
I have $200 of cash that I'm going to deposit into my account. And the first ATM eats half of my money.
Oh.
And says, oh, not sure if the deposit went through. Here's the number. Call the bank to make sure your deposit went through. So I had to, it ate half and spit out the other half. So I had to move to the next ATM. And fortunately, I was able to deposit it. So my first order of business this morning was trying to reclaim my own money that the ATM ate last night.
Were they helpful?
They were, thankfully.
They were.
It was Chase Bank is really great. You got to give it to them. They're not like Lyft of 2018, but.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, just fighting through grievances. Whole Foods, I have grievances with every now and then. I almost asked to speak with the manager at Whole Foods the other day.
You are a Karen.
No.
You really are a Karen.
No,
but you're
really
a likable
not.
Karen.
Yeah, but do you really think so?
Honestly, if you looked like a Karen, then maybe. But you're so likable, that's the difference.
You're saying this. I think there's one thing worse than being a Karen, and I've been thinking about this recently, and it's being a Kale.
Is that a male
These
version?
are people in LA.
Oh, God.
Who condemn others for their dietary decisions.
Oh, yes.
If I'm enjoying ice cream and someone's like, oh, how's all that sugar? Don't be a Kale. Don't be a Kale.
What does a Kale look like?
They come in, and they don't come in all shapes or sizes. It's a very uniform brand, these Kales. But like you would not find these in other parts of the country. Kales are very specific to Los Angeles. You wouldn't be at a Waffle House at 1:37 on a Thursday morning, out 15 minutes outside Nashville, and somebody saying, "Oh, how's all them carbs?"
They would never even think that.
No, seriously. Don't be a Kale.
Don't be a Kale. I would agree with that. I do think that's worse than a Karen.
Right?
Yeah.
Let people have dietary freedoms.
Maybe you're just good at communication. Because when you've been wronged in work settings, not in like personal settings always, but when you've been wronged, not in like a co-working thing, in like a Whole Foods or an Uber or a Lyft, they will know. And you will write a letter.
Speaking of dietary Freedom. This is embarrassing, but I recently went to Whole Foods. I've been on a barbecue kick lately, and the stuff I ordered is like the epitome of the worst of the worst. It was I've been eating hot dogs. No, I got hot dogs and I've been grilling them. I've been literally this is what I checked out with at Whole Foods: hot dogs, boxed macaroni, and then Reese's Puff cereal. No, I got the Reese's Puffs at Vons, but that was literally, I went to the store specifically and I got that, and I've been living off that for like a week and a half.
Now, my question becomes, are you eating these two together? Are you eating the hot dog and macaroni and cheese combo?
No, I wish I was, but I was eating baked beans and hot dogs is what I've been doing.
Very
Taylor,
Boston of you.
Taylor, your palate has always been one of like more of a 5-year-old though. Like that's not news. But I will say, I love a good hot dog, and justice for hot dogs because.
And 'tis the season.
Yes, exactly. And I think I'm like a grill master these days because I, put a hot dog on a grill, but still I'm grilling. So credit where credit's due, But I'm sorry, if you don't like hot dogs, you're lying to yourself, and stop. Like, you have to like a hot dog.
You know who doesn't enjoy a hot dog?
Who?
Kale.
Exactly.
Kale.
Exactly.
Do you know what kind of meat is in that? No, I don't. And I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
The secret too is to get the sausages, not just the hot dogs.
Agreed.
But you get those sausages. You can get they're so good.
Sausage.
This is really prepping Taylor for Texas. He's doing well.
Oh, I know.
Absolutely.
I need it because there's a lot of smoked meats like at barbecue joints out there. I know because there used to be a Texas barbecue place in San Diego that Michael and I used to go to all the time, and it was really good. So, but I've never, surprisingly, when I was out there, I have not eaten barbecue, or actually, no, I didn't. That was just a regular burger place. I have not had Texas barbecue.
I think that's one area where LA kind of falters is barbecue.
One of a few.
Right. There's a few, like a handful of spots maybe that you can get some good barbecue, but it's a kind of a hurting industry.
Yeah, it's not the best.
No.
There's one place here that's from Texans and quotes, but like we'll see about that.
Which one is it?
I can't name it because I don't want to hurt their feelings.
Yeah.
I'll tell you off air. Okay, wait, Ryan, you need to give us like a little bit of a life update. It's been like probably 2.5 years since you've been on the show.
My goodness. Everything. It feels like everything has changed, and at the same time, nothing almost. It's so, it's very wild. This past year specifically has rocked me in more ways than one, last year, in 2019, I lost a job I loved at the Montage and really threw my whole life away for a little bit. I destroyed a lot of relationships.
Broke my heart.
No, seriously. Yeah. Actually, it was a very upsetting time,
So to answer questions, there was a period of time where Ryan wasn't friends with me, but he did come crawling back. Don't worry.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And unfortunately, that was the case with a lot of my relationships, But the reality is I faced it. I faced it, and last year went on a journey to repair a lot of those relationships in which I damaged and lost. With my mom's help early on last year, my mom was a great guide in a lot of the recovery work that I was doing last year. And then in the fall of last year, my mom passed, and it rocked my world. It rocked all of our world, So a lot of this last year has been working through grief and loss, and remembering a lot of the lessons that she has taught me has helped me to get through a lot of this. And I'm thankful, honestly, in the end, where I'm at right now with everything that has gone on. I'm thankful. Yeah. So it like even getting to sit here and do this with you is very special after everything that has gone on, it's very special to me.
I want to start at the beginning of your life update. So let's say someone is damaging a lot of their relationships. Well, I mean, I know, but like for as much as you can share, what made you almost become self-aware and realize like, I don't necessarily like where I've kind of put myself in my life?
I think through writing. Yeah, I think through writing. I read a book by Dr. Susan David early last year called Emotional Agility.
I thought you were going to say Dr. Seuss.
I thought you were going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
I read a book by Dr. Seuss last year called Red Fish, Blue Fish. I read a book by Dr. Susan David called Emotional Agility. And the timing of it was just it was one of those synchronicities where I picked up this book in just the right season, and it really helped me. And one of the things that she talks about is utilizing writing as a tool to help, further understand and develop your sense of your values, and how you can incorporate your actions and decision making based off of those very values. So I started to write, and I also have done The Artist Way. Have you heard of this?
Mm-hmm.
Through with Julia Cameron, a piece of that is also morning writing, morning journaling. And through this, Kenzie, I was able to watch my thoughts, and watch my thoughts around people, watch my thoughts around the places I was in, the relationships I have, and able to change a lot of that which I didn't like, and that which I maybe some areas of my life that I had settled in, just out of familiarity or comfort, and was able to I think a lot of us fear just owning up to our own part in some things too, out of a place of pride. And I wasn't willing to do that. I don't think I had to muster up what it took to take ownership and take responsibility for my own part in what had gone on in my life. And it led to a lot of positive change.
What did you do once you how did you approach trying to make amends?
First, you got to let the person know why you want to make amends. You need to communicate to the other person that this relationship is valuable to you. Like, I wouldn't be here sitting having this conversation around amends if I didn't care about this relationship. So establishing that kind of right off the bat, and taking ownership. It's not a blame game. It's not a you hurt me by doing this. In a sense, yes, we can talk about those things too, but those things become more palatable to the other person when you also are willing to take ownership of things that you may have done to hurt others as well, you know? So just establishing a mutual understanding that, hey, this relationship means a lot to me, and it's not one that I'm just willing to throw away over some pettiness that maybe has occurred, you know?
Mhm. I remember when you texted me so vividly. Let me set the scene, guys. So and by the way, Ryan and I couldn't have been more attached at the hip in college. I wouldn't have survived that place without you.
Yeah,
I
a
really,
lot of it's documented,
yes,
right?
exactly. I'm like, we literally best friends, did everything together. We were literally always together. So this is probably like a year and a half, I think, that we didn't talk, I want to say, around that time. And I'm driving my car. I was in Dallas. I pull up to La La Land. Every time I pass, I think of this. I remember it so
What is
vividly.
La La Land?
It's a coffee shop, and now
Popular?
it's in LA now, but it's in Dallas, yes. So I was going there, and then I got a text, and it said Ryan, and I was like, wait, what? But I saw your photo first, and so on my
contact
car,
photo?
yeah,
Which is what?
This in college, that photo. And you texted me, and you were like, hey, Kenz, I don't know if you still have my number. And I was like, what the fuck? Obviously, I still have your number. And then you were just, it was like an apology and wanting to talk or whatever.
That's it.
And conveniently, I was going to LA the next day. And I think I replied within, I don't even think it had been 30 seconds.
It was very quick. I was very,
I don't think you had
honestly,
exited
it was
the
very
message.
comforting. It was very
Yeah.
comforting how quick you did respond.
Should I have made you wait longer?
No.
Okay, maybe I should have.
respect that question, but no.
No, but I was like, oh my God, amazing. Okay, yeah, I'm in LA, of course. And then it was just, we talked, I cried. Today, Tom's like, I don't think I've ever seen you cry, which is a lie. She's a liar for everyone who didn't know.
Well, it's very special to us, right?
Yes.
When relationships matter to us in the way that they matter to us,
Yes.
it's special to us.
Yes, and I have cried with Ryan a million times. But the thing about that, this is another topic I wanted to talk about, is Dom and I were talking about this. She helped me prep the episode today.
Yeah.
And the whole bit with Ryan is that he's like Mr. Hospitality. But more than that, you are the most loved person that I know. You are the most likable person that I know. There's
Thank
no
you,
one that
Kenzie.
meets you that doesn't obsess over you. You and Dom are very similar in that way. But I think your relationships, and I relate to you on this, are always very deep, and they mean a lot more to you, I think, than the next person. You're just very good at cultivating relationships and friendships. And where did you get that from? Because not everyone cares in the way that you do.
That's a great question. Thank you for saying that. It's very sweet of you to say that. Honestly, it's the way I was raised. I look at my parents' life, especially I can look now specifically at my dad right now, the way he's navigating everything that has gone on. He lost the love of his life after 34 years.
Yeah.
And this situation could completely crush somebody, and it has in a lot of ways. But thankfully, my dad, for the past 30 plus years, has put in work to cultivate meaningful and deep relationships, much past acquaintance, much
Yeah.
past, just so and so from here or there. He has really lifelong friendships where when things like that happen, it's very easy for him to fall back on these relationships and not have others feel burdened by it, because you have years and years worth of sewing in. So I think looking at my parents' lives and seeing not how easy it was for them to face challenges in life, but seeing how they were able to face adversity because of the relationships that they had, I think I've been always been challenged by that and wanted that for myself, you
Yeah,
know?
and you definitely have that.
Yeah. And it takes work. You know that.
Yeah.
Relationships take work. Friendships do, romantic relationships within a professional setting, they just take work. But if they matter to you, you put the work in.
Do you still feel the urge in your relationships, maybe when things get hard, to run?
Yes, absolutely.
What makes you not do it now?
My values. I value authenticity, especially in my relationships, and I value communication. And I know the hindrances that it caused when we run, versus I'm just willing to be vulnerable with people. I'm willing to be open with where I'm at in hopes of strong relationships. I know what each extreme looks like. I
Yeah.
know what open communication looks like, and I know what reclusing and isolating looks like. And I choose open communication versus running.
Yeah.
Today anyway. Tomorrow could look different.
I'm like, right now we're good though, guys.
Yeah. Tomorrow could look different. It's a daily thing,
Yeah.
It's like a daily taking up of the cross actually
Yeah.
in relationships.
Dom and I talk about this all the time. Like, I think for reference, by the way, if y'all didn't listen, Dom, Ryan, and I went to college together. So that's how we are all like very close friends. But it's the relationships I have specifically with you two, is like my two best friends from college, that there's nothing I think that I could do in this world that I would do that I couldn't come to you guys about, or that I wouldn't trust that you guys would be
I
there
love that.
for. But I think that is also from, it is from open communication and feeling like you can say things and not, I know how it felt before and how it feels now, and it's very different,
Absolutely. Yeah. And when you face adversity together, it makes it easier in the future when things spring up. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, I remember we were able to get through such and such,
Yeah.
and it makes future situations just look a bit more conquerable.
Yeah. And
know?
we've just been through a lot. And not even like in our relationship. I mean, like, both of us have gone through a lot in the time of our friendship.
Yeah. Do
So
you
it
have a
helps.
proclivity to run?
No, not really.
Yeah.
I think I maybe
Have
will.
you ever? Is that something you deal with? Maybe that's not a common thing,
Yeah, I think I will avoid things more than I would run. So I guess maybe that's kind of running. But
So
I
like
don't.
you're more of an just not confronting the elephant in the room, kind of.
I don't think I'm that way now, but I think I have it that way in the past. But I think as I've gotten older and you're really able to decide who you want around you, like when you're in high school and when you're in college, you're just with these same set of people.
Right.
And then I think especially when you go to a small school and then it gets like catty and you're like, I don't even know why you feel this way.
Yes.
You're not living in any sort of reality. As you get older, you decide like what relationships are worth it and what friendships you're going to keep around. Like even a few people that we went to college with that I'm still really close with, I would have never imagined that those would be the people that I would still talk to or like
Yeah.
keep up with. So I don't know if I necessarily have
Is there one in particular that you would share about that has surprised you the most? Maybe a way that it's helped, that, like a relationship specifically that has like helped your life, or that means a lot to you?
I would say you.
Really?
Well, I wouldn't have at the time. I wouldn't have said we weren't going to be friends.
Yeah.
But not. I don't know. I always thought you would come back around.
Yeah.
And Dom and I had so many conversations about it, and I would be like, I mean, like, when is the day coming? Because I thought it was going to be like 6 months. And it didn't matter how many times people texted you or called you or contacted. Like, I was like, eventually he will come back.
Yeah.
But I do think at that point we kind of given up hope. And I was like, I don't know if this day's ever coming.
Oh.
No, but I would say you. There is another person that I am close with again that would be surprising to me, just because that was my only tumultuous friendship, if you will, in that time. But like, yeah, I think that would probably be it.
The one thing about shared experiences is it really is iron forged in like the flames of like forever. Because when you go through hardships with someone or you work past something, it's something that no matter what happens to either of you, you will always share that. And that's why for me, even old friends, there's things that I've gone through with past friends of mine that I haven't spoken to in years, but it doesn't matter that if they called me at any time, I would always be there for them because of my past with them, and I would never abandon them. And that's why I think somewhat of what you were both describing with that is I think when you're friends and you have something, instead if you work through something with someone, it strengthens that bond forever.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you just have this like understanding. I think like you and I have this, me and Dom have this, where it's like Dom and I are together all the time, and she's always with me. We're always like working together, but it doesn't matter. Nothing changes even if we're not talking every single day. It's just this like understanding of like, we just know that we know that we know.
That's okay too, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's
in
like
some
healthy.
context, because in the context that we were in a small Bible college, like you're with people 24/7. It feels like, and when one's not around, one goes missing. It's like, where's someone? You know what I mean? And that's not necessarily reality in most contexts. You know.
We were living in like a really weird bubble, like a very specific bubble.
Yes.
And like it was a little bit weird, like how I think just when anyone's in like a very, very weird specific bubble, social dynamics, and then like there always has to be a villain, or there always has to be it's just exhausting. Like, and then when you get out of that setting, especially like me moving, and you're like, that was so unnecessary.
Is that less prevalent in Texas?
Oh my God, yeah. I don't have drama with any friends, like really ever. But there will be like conversations and stuff, but it's not. But also like we're at a different age and we're not in college anymore. And like we all talk about how like, oh my God, like you can always think about the certain situations or arguments that you've had with someone. Now at 24, I can think about something I was mad about at 21. And I'm like, I was in the wrong on that one, but I didn't see it at the time.
Sure.
So I think that it's also just like part of growing up.
Yeah, I love that. How your mix of friends that you have right now, how many of them are friends that you grew up with? How many of them are friends that you've made since you've been back over the past few years?
We all, besides a few, are from the same hometown.
So a good majority.
Most of us grew up together.
I love that so much.
It's the best thing in the world. And then we do have new friends, but it really is, and it's the greatest.
These new friends are also native Texans, or they
went to college with friends of ours.
Got it.
So I don't know, but it's just really, I have the best friends in the world in Dallas. Like I got so lucky. And also we're in like a different place. Like there's not, the arguments that you have at 8, 16, 20 are not what you're going to end up having in your 20s. So I think that that's helpful too.
Yeah.
But it just depends. I think a lot of it is just growing up.
How are you enjoying the transplant culture in Texas right now? There's a lot more transplants than ever right now?
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Where are the most people coming from?
California to Austin.
Really?
And then to Dallas.
Do you love it, or do you?
I don't mind it because like I lived here. Like I kind of love it because I'm like Sweetgreen's here now.
Yes, you just read my mind. I'm like, you have to love it. I
get all my stuff. Not yet. That's the only thing that isn't here. It's on its way. You have to
believe it's on its way. Alfred's
there.
Okay.
Austin.
Sweetgreen, check. Yeah. These are the things I would think of.
These are the things that I care about, and it's all there now. So I'm like,
that's great. Let's believe that Blue Bottle is on its way.
I'm speaking that into existence.
Have you had any communication about this?
I tried. They're really corporate, so it's difficult. They're a lot more corporate than other.
Are there any in Texas at all?
No.
Interesting.
I know, but I think that they're coming soon. I'm just like praying for that to happen.
They're in New York.
Yeah, they're in
LA.
Chicago. They're everywhere. Yeah, it's happening.
We
But
need to
Alfred's
get
there.
Blue Bottle to Texas.
Yeah, if Blue Bottle is listening to this,
Yes, we
call
need
me.
to get Blue Bottle to Texas.
I will work for free. I will have everyone at your coffee shops. I will do for you what I've done for another coffee shop in Dallas that I should never have done. So there we go. I will do whatever I can.
She said what needed to be said.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so I do want to talk a little bit about grief and loss.
Yeah.
You have navigated this so well. Not that there's a right or a wrong way to deal with this.
100%.
But I'm so impressed by you.
Thank you, Kenzie.
So do you want to just speak on where you're at currently?
Yeah, I mean, it was completely unexpected. You know, we could have never have saw coming what happened to us last year. But my reality is that I just believe that I had the greatest mom that I could have ever had.
And you were the greatest son to her too.
We
you
had
guys had a
great relationship.
You had the best relationship I've ever seen anyone have with their mom.
Yeah, we had a great relationship. She was a very special woman. You know a little bit about my mom is she's one of 14 kids.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's one of 14. She grew up in Brooklyn, New York, in the heat of the 60s and 70s, in a massive family to two very alcoholic parents. So you could imagine that dynamic was tumultuous. It presented a lot of adversity early on for her. And she overcame a lot of, she had things that would happen to her as a result of her own decisions. And there was adversity in her life that just naturally happened by circumstance. And she had a wicked crack addiction in her early 20s and had my older brother at an earlier age. And she was able to turn her whole life around, and she met my dad early in recovery and completely rebuilt everything that she had lost in her addiction and was able to help hundreds, honestly, Kenzie, maybe even thousands of young women in the southern Massachusetts area get sober, get clean and sober. They would call her the godmother of recovery in Massachusetts. She helped, even today, if I'm scrolling on Facebook and things like that, a lot of the girls that she has helped share stories about the ways that she has helped them, So I there's a lot for me to be thankful about. And in the tragedy of the situation, I understood that I would do my mother's life the biggest disservice if I were to just throw it all away and sulk and pity. And she taught me to be strong, and she taught me to be courageous. So I knew instantly when this happened that I had an opportunity to honor her life. And I'm thankful for that, and what has made this easy, like I was sharing about my dad and how he has responded, watching his strength, watching his courage to show up to the situation has really challenged me on days when I get up and I'm like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
On days when I'm just overridden and overwhelmed, which honestly, over the past 9 months has been common. There are days when I just feel extremely overwhelmed, but I am constantly in remembrance of lessons that she taught me, and lessons from her recovery and a lot of what we're talking about today, these relationships and making amends and guiding through a lot of this. It's all lessons I learned from her and watching the way she leaded her life and the relationship she had. So um it's so tragic, even I lost a job about 2 months ago, and I think there are principles of recovery that I have learned and learned from my parents' lives that also apply to grief and loss, so amends making and having the awareness to say, hey, something's wrong here, there's a situation that needs recovering, believing there's a resolution, having hope that there's another side to what you're facing, and just being willing to show up to it and put the work into it. Yeah, it's been and a lot of this for me is the friendships that I have that have been just, I could get very emotional talking about it, but I have a lot of great friends that have just shown up for me remarkably, you included. I have the great privilege to know you privately, and you showed up for me instantly when the situation happened, and and helped me financially, sent flowers, checked in on me, offered to send food. And this was the case, thankfully, with a lot of great friends that I have and am fortunate to have. So that has been a saving grace for me as well, you know. So I honor you in that, you know, and people should understand that what you see and hear publicly from Kenzie is also the friend that she is in private. You're supportive and present in your relationships in good times and bad. And um, yeah, I love you for that.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah.
What is your favorite lesson that your mom taught you?
Nothing changes if nothing changes.
That is like a Ryanism too. Like
That's
you got it from her.
That's it.
Yeah.
Nothing changes if nothing changes. You want to sit on your bed and be depressed and let your life waste away and be mad at your situations, then that's just what your life will look like. But if you want to get up and suit up and show up show up to your situations and show strength, then things change, you know. And you're just if you're willing to just face it, you know.
If someone's really overwhelmed and they don't know, they want to make a change, but they don't know what to do, what the easiest first thing you should do, what would you recommend?
Right.
Yeah, I agree. I'm so with you on this. Writing has changed my life.
You just got to write. You got to get a Shinola journal. You need to go on. You need
Absolutely.
to Google Shinola right now.
It's incredibly important.
You need to get yourself a large linen Shinola journal. You need to spend 30 minutes in the morning, either 30 minutes or 3 full pages.
Morning pages.
Stream of consciousness.
Yep.
That's it. It's a stream of consciousness, and you are able in times when I feel overwhelmed, I can feel when I don't write in the mornings because it offers me a sense of clarity. You know, I'm able to watch my thoughts take place. I'm maybe able to see the patterns in my thoughts, some unhealthy, some healthy, and able to lean into what's a bit more healthy and not, you know. And in times when you feel overwhelmed, like if you don't put work in, like just as simple as writing in the morning, you'll only continue to feel just as overwhelmed. In my own personal experience,
I
right?
completely agree. I sometimes too struggle with like not knowing where certain emotions are coming from. So when I started doing like morning pages, which is what Ryan is talking about, it helped me realize like where certain things were coming and that I didn't even know that certain situations I hadn't like fully dealt with or were still bothering me from the past.
Yeah.
So then I was able to fix the root of the issue. It has just changed my life, but I just didn't know. Like, I would say I've always had a stronger sense of self, but when I like 23 to 20, 22 to 24, I was so lost and so confused, and writing is what got me out of it.
Yeah. I heard somebody say, I don't know who or where I heard this, but I love it. And I know you're going to love it, is that we read to understand others, or we read to understand the world, and we write to understand ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, and
So
I have
good.
gained a great understanding of myself and really seen what matters to me, what's important to me, what I value in writing. You know, I like I mentioned, I was able to realize that I value authenticity. I value history and tradition. I value communication, you know, through writing and through you can only write the same thing so many times before you're willing to do something about it. Even creative endeavors. Like I can only write about my hopes and dreams about writing songs so many times before it's like I gotta write some songs. I gotta write some songs, you know? So I don't know. I've been able to dream new dreams and repair old situations like you mentioned that come up and just writing. Yeah.
It's so interesting how we focus so much on our relationships with other people, but really not at all on our relationship with ourselves. And I just recorded an entire solo episode about this, and like our relationships with ourselves set the tone of everything else in our lives. And that needs to be number one. It's not a selfish thing. It's actually a selfless thing, because then you're going to be better like for your partner, for your friend, for yourself, for your job. Like
I love that.
In every aspect of your life, it's incredibly important. And I have time and time again, instead of focusing on myself, I'll focus on other people and fixing other people.
How easy.
Yeah, exactly. It's easier.
Right.
I don't have to deal with my own stuff.
Of
Like
course.
Fixer, it's definitely showed up in my dating life.
Of
like,
course.
and it made my life easy. And then I was so afraid of, like, at the end of it, I was so afraid of dealing with what was going on with myself because I put it off for so long. And it's not actually as scary as you think it is. Because we build, you think about a conversation you have with someone, that you're going to have with someone, you build that up, right? And like, it's really never as scary as it seems.
100%.
Same thing with like sitting with yourself, you know?
Absolutely. We make such a stink about conversations, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You write a lot, Kenzie?
Yeah, I do morning pages.
Yeah. There was a few, like Susan David's book, Emotional Agility, talked about the utilization of writing. Matthew McConaughey's Green
Oh,
Lights.
Don't even get me started.
Have you read this?
Yes.
Right?
Love.
Fantastic.
Yes, love.
Did you listen to it or you read it?
I read it and I listened to it.
How was the audiobook
I mean,
experience?
everything that you could ever.
I could imagine.
I can't believe you didn't.
read it.
Oh, yeah,
I
you
haven't
gotta
listened
listen.
to it. No, I know. I would imagine that would be an incredible listen.
Oh, it was unbelievable.
I could imagine, but he talks about journaling and writing and how that, and there was like 2 or 3 books in a month and a half that really stressed the utilization of writing. I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, I get it. We should be writing. And it really has been the biggest game changer for me.
Yeah, it changes your life. Okay, let's talk about writing songs.
Yeah, super fun.
Ryan is incredibly talented musically. Actually, get them up to date with your music.
Yeah, well, I've been able to write quite a good amount of songs over this past year and a half.
Well, and you've like toured before, early 20s.
When I lived in Nashville for a few years, 2010, 2012, played some Southern rock and country, did a lot of time in Texas, places like Saxon Pub in Austin and Pootie's and Spicewood just outside of Lake Travis. We did a few stints in Dallas. I wouldn't be able to remember where, but the Stage in Austin and a bunch of places all throughout the Southeast that love to party and listen to country music. Bayou Country Superfest in Baton Rouge. And yeah, music's been very good to me. But then there was a time after I got sober where I kind of put it in the back seat because I had such strong associations between the playing and my drinking and using. Like when I would get to playing, it didn't feel quite right for some reason for a long time, and there were narratives that I held on to that played into that. Like I'm not naturally a songwriter or different fears. And I've been able to shatter a lot of that through writing, a lot of the narratives, like I'm not naturally a songwriter. I completely shattered that because I write songs that I love.
Yeah. And he's actually really talented.
That I love, and have a lot of friends creatively, Eric and Justin Flewellen, and people that have really championed me in this area and helped me to get a couple gigs over the past few months. Like I'm playing live again, which is the greatest joy of my life. So and I'm keeping it fun because for so long I took it so seriously and I only psyched myself out and I didn't even do it, and I'm just keeping it playful. I'm keeping it fun. I'm playing when I want to play. I'm writing when I want to write, and it's been super enjoyable. Yeah.
What I love about this for you is that it would be so much easier to just continue to push it away, and I think it's really intimidating to like go after a dream or like a really deep desire for a multitude of reasons. But especially, I think you get on like your life path, and then there's just nothing to change. You're not going to add anything. I love the stories on those like happy Instagram pages where it talks about a 60-year-old woman went back to med school. Like I love that idea of like you can constantly evolve. You can constantly change who you are, and what you do at 30 doesn't need to be who you are and what you do at 50. I think that's so cool. And that's what I love about it.
Has reading opened that idea up for you as well?
Yes. Yeah. But I also
like in just understanding that the world has so many possibilities to offer you.
Yes.
If you're willing to give yourself those opportunities and present yourself those, And
also just knowing that you don't need to have it figured out at 22, 25, 30, 35.
Encouraging, huh?
Yeah, that is the most freeing piece of advice I've ever received. But also there's so many people who are incredibly successful in their industries, however you define success, and they didn't start until later in life. And I love those stories because I think it's so cool. And I think it's a lot harder to have the courage to do it when you're older, when you have more responsibilities, or you're a little more set in your ways. And I just think it's cool.
Yeah.
Not that you're old, but like, changing your mind.
Oh, 30 in 2 weeks. Hello. Can't believe
It's
I just
crazy.
said that with a microphone in front of my
No, you know
face,
what's so wild? We would always talk about, it's like I turn you turned 30 and I turned 25 within like so close.
Actually,
And it's here. I feel like I was 21 like 2 days ago. So what happened there? We are like 6 days apart. So a week apart.
Can I be honest? I feel more youthful than I ever have before.
I'm actually so excited. Your early 20s, they kind of suck. I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah. And 24 has been my best year yet. And 25, I feel so good about it. And I cannot wait to be 30. That's going to be my decade. I already know it.
I love that. So I feel very youthful.
Yeah.
I feel very young in spirit.
Well, you are young in spirit.
Yeah.
That would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel it.
Yeah.
You know? So 30.
Who cares?
Yeah, really.
I feel like when I was like 17, I put a lot of pressure on age because I started working so young. And I was like, I have to achieve this by then. And now I'm like, I'll do what I want. Like, I'll figure it out.
Which area adds more to that pressure of working at an early age? Texan culture or Angelino culture?
Angelino culture.
Really?
Well, I will say Texans work hard.
They do.
So that's
and it's instilled that you work at an
hard.
Early age. Yeah.
Yes. But I didn't just work at an early age. I had a career at an early age. And I think that's the difference between the Texan culture versus Los Angeles. But a lot of it was all self-induced, to be clear.
Which is more career-oriented, you would say Los Angeles is?
In what I do, yeah. I would say yes, because Texas is, you don't live to work, you work to live. And there's so many people. There's like billionaires in Texas who live their lives totally different than like someone who
New York's the same way.
Yeah, who like are running themselves. Like I was on the hamster wheel.
Yeah.
And it was just like me learning how to not do that and not put my worth in what I do and my job. And I've been able to create a life that was like very fulfilling outside of my job, which has been very helpful.
Yeah. What are some things you do maybe on a daily or even weekly basis that add to that?
Reading, being number one. Writing. I'm so all about like solo hobbies. So reading, cooking would be my biggest ones. I mean, I'm still in hot Pilates every day.
I need to try this. Is it the tortellini soup?
I'll make it for you one day. It's really
no,
actually maybe we can.
Every time
you know
I see this, I'm like, the sooner I have this is not soon enough.
If Dom didn't get us reservations, I can make it at Dom's because it's Dom's favorite meal.
Amazing.
But yeah, just like having independent hobbies has been really helpful. And then also like really valuing my social life. Because if you think about it, when I was here the last 2 years, I didn't really have a social life. Like we were all together because we were doing the same things.
Sure.
And if anyone was hanging out with me, what were we doing? We were at my house.
Right.
Because it was around my schedule.
Yeah.
So like, and I was so busy. So it was very hard for me to like establish a life outside of that.
You've been able to do that being back home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's been very good for me. And I think also just like not being in college anymore.
You have a better handle on the separation, or you have a more sense of balance between your career and your own personal social life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was not
where maybe before they were even just conjoined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I had to basically, like that was my only option.
Such as LA.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's very true. It's just a different culture. I mean, like there's pros and cons to both, but I just prefer the Texas culture. I also love being around people who do different things. Not that I didn't have that in LA, but it's just all of my friends in Texas, everyone has a different job or everyone has different interests. And like I love that. And I feel like I could have created that probably post-grad here, it would have been harder for me to do.
I think so, 100%.
It's very difficult. Okay, so last thing I want to talk about, summer essentials.
Yeah, I love it.
All right, let's go.
It's summertime in LA.
It's summertime.
This is so timely that we could have this conversation today because it's just the best.
It really is.
Do you love the summer?
Actually,
which is your favorite season?
Fall, by far. Fall and winter.
Now let's go even more specific. What's your favorite season in Texas? Fall.
I would say in fall because in November would be my favorite month.
LA.
Mm-hmm.
The seasons in different locations.
No, they're totally different.
Right?
I don't really know what my favorite in LA would be, only because it doesn't really change throughout the years. It's hard for me to even think about when certain things happen because there's no change in season,
actually,
so I can't really put it together.
Sure.
So it's the same thing. I don't know what it would be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I love the fall.
I love the fall.
Summer essentials.
Okay, let's hear it.
Coconut cream pie Lara bars for me is actually one of them.
He has one with him right now.
Actually,
he pulled it out of his pocket.
This is actually one of them. I can't get enough of these.
Oh yeah, those are good.
They're so good. They're for real ingredients for all you kales that are watching. Okay, let's see. There's dates, cashews, coconut, and almonds. Yeah. So,
There you go.
Yeah, how's all that sugar? There's nothing going on here. It's a Lara bar. All right. Yeah, coconut cream pie Lara bars.
I love that. I live in dresses because it's so hot.
Yeah.
I wear a dress and cowboy boots or heels or sneakers.
How
like,
about
every
this
day.
quote? It's not the heat it's the humidity that'll get you.
Yeah.
How often do you hear this?
Literally all the time. Yeah, literally all the time. I don't do well with it, so that would be it. I listen to country music nonstop.
Love it.
A ranch
Who
water.
are you listening to?
Oh my God, everyone. These days I'm really on. I mean, Carter Faith. You have got
Who's
to listen to her. My friend Carter. She was on the show a few months ago.
Yeah.
She's actually watched my vlogs for forever. So like, small world. She's incredible. I'll show you her music.
I
You'll
can't
love
wait to
it.
listen.
She's very good. I love Texas country. So like Cody Johnson. Like I love I love all of it though. My friend Trey Lewis. Love him.
Yeah.
Great guy. Great music.
I love that. You and Dom are both big fans of his,
Yeah,
right?
I was at the strip club last week. Yeah,
I love that he was performing.
No, I was after a show, but he did dedicate "Dick Down in Dallas" to me in the strip club. So thank you very much. Really happened. I love a lot of I'm just such a friends person. So the second my friend comes out with anything or does anything, that is what I'm listening to.
I love that.
I'm back on my early morning routines. I actually don't do well mentally in the
What does it
summer.
look like?
6 a.m. hot Pilates, 7 a.m. walk on the Katy Trail in Dallas. Grab a coffee, get home, shower, get ready.
6 a.m.
I'm back
hot
on
Pilates.
it. I'm back on it. I know. Some things never change, honestly. You know?
I think I'm gonna be taking back on a routine as well soon.
Mm.
Maybe a little spin.
Ooh.
Maybe it feels like we said at the beginning. It feels a lot like 2018 again in a lot of ways. It really does.
Really does. It
so
really
I'm just
does.
leaning into it.
Also, Supergoop sunscreen. The Supergoop glow screen. It's my holy grail product. I've worn it every day for the past probably 3-4
Really?
years.
I've seen this.
So good. And then I have these $10 Amazon.
Do you have you used Coola?
sunglasses.
Coola.
Yes, but I not enough to know if I like it.
Oh, I love it.
There's one product in them I know that I love, but I'm blanking on what it is, and I don't think it's
I just
scented
love them.
sunscreen. Supergoop's great because the glow screen one, it makes your skin look blurred. So it almost makes you look like you got ready for the day. And let's be real, I'm not getting ready for the day. So it's really nice. I'm not gonna put makeup on every day. My God. So the glow screen is great, and I really love that. Oh, and my Kindle, obviously.
100%. My iPad is right there.
I've kind of turned into a bit of a Kindle evangelist, if you will.
I love that.
I mean, it's kind of getting out of hand.
You're turning readers. You're turning people into readers.
I am.
I love that.
I ran into an old mutual friend of ours at Zoe today. I'll tell you who later. And I saw her for maybe 3 minutes, and I was selling a Kindle to her. I was like, "No, you got to get a Kindle. You got to read it." I'm like, "What am I
Was she into it?
doing?" Yeah, she actually was, and I think she's gonna start reading.
I love
Oh yeah,
that.
I wouldn't be shocked if I get a message
You have
later.
a book club that you just recently started.
Yeah, well, it's an Instagram page, but I'll eventually do a book club. I need Spotify Live to give me a show to do a book club thing, or I need Literati to do a book club thing with someone's got to do it. I'm a real reader, and these people that they're
Literati
picking,
is like a
the book club
Goodreads?
service. No, it's not Goodreads, but you've got to pay attention to the real readers, and I'm the real reader, so that's all I'm gonna say. Anyways, this has been a great episode. Taylor, do you have any final words, any thoughts? You want to chime in?
Randomly, I actually was meant to say this when you guys were talking about music. I had no idea that Dom listened to hardcore music at all. I was shocked when I found that out. I was like, what?
She's super into it.
It's funny because I like a lot of the bands that she likes too, and it was just one of those things that the world is crazy in the best way possible, because you never really expect something, and then all of a sudden you're always pleasantly surprised by it.
I love being surprised.
Did I tell the story that I saw Ryan recently on the show? I don't think I did I?
No, tell the story.
So I was going to pick up Lauren. We were going to a photo shoot, and I'm walking through the lobby, and it's one of those things where I thought I heard someone say Taylor, and I legitimately look around, and I don't see anybody, and I'm looking around going, I'm fucking crazy, or someone really did call my name, because it was something that was so vivid that I would have swore someone said my name, and I was like, okay, I guess not. It was very bizarre. I was thinking, that's very strange. So then I'm walking, and then I turn around and he says Taylor, and then it's Ryan.
I chased you down.
So I was very, very happy to see him, and I'm very, very happy to see him here and have him back on, because what I want to say, everything you said, Kenzie, about him is true. Yeah. I feel like your knowledge far surpasses your experience of it, and that's why I think people go to you for advice, is because you could honestly probably say, even if you don't know anything, I think that it's still coming from a place of your intention is there to help someone. So that's why I think that even if it's something that maybe you don't know, you're not an expert in, I think you still have a lead on a lot of other people when it comes to advice and giving just insight to people.
I love that. Yeah, I chased you down the red carpet of the Beverly Hills Hotel. I most certainly did. I was not going to let you leave that day without a hello.
Yeah, so that was a good little reunion. Now this is another reunion. Here.
I love it.
I love it. Yeah, Ryan, you're very wise. That's how I would describe it. Very, very wise. Again, wouldn't have survived college at all. I mean, we did a number. Like, the amount of times Ryan and I, like, it would like ruin our day if someone, like, we were in kindergarten, if someone sat next to us and there wasn't a seat next to the other one, or like someone took the water bottle off the chair that we were reserving.
We had sweatsuit days in sync.
Oh yes, we actually Tuesdays, I think we were like matching sets.
Either Tuesdays or Thursdays was like a sweatsuit matching suit.
So we've actually always been matching, not just today.
Yeah. Very on brand for us today.
Very on brand. Okay, Ryan, where can they find you?
What is it?
Where can they find you? And you need to start a podcast.
Yeah, I do have to be opening up a bit more on social, but you can follow me on Instagram for now, as I'm going to be recording and producing this music over the next 6 months to a year, and then eventually on Spotify. But I'm also going to be ideally starting a podcast with your help
he
over
has
the
a mic
next
now.
6 months or so as well. So just preparing a list of guests and things like this and topics. So that's something to be excited about as well.
Yay.
Yeah, this has been so fun.
I know, guys. It just feels right being in this room.
Actually.
It really does. Okay, well, love you. Thank you for coming on.
Love you.
All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know by giving it a nice thumbs up and subscribe for more.